Hello, fams, faves, likes, and loves, and those souls I have yet to meet. This is Jeffrey DeShawn, the Inspired Muse, with your Tuesday morning pep talk. Today's pep talk is this: your trauma is not you, and you are not your trauma. The trauma and pain that we experience in life, and I think about this particularly in talking with individuals and coaching clients during this period of response to COVID-19 and the economic distress that the pandemic has caused the United States and around the world. In moments like this of experiencing so much trauma, pain, and loss, and particularly if that happens to be at a time period where you're coming on the heels of having experienced other trauma, pain, and loss in your life, when the trauma, pain, and loss begin to feel compounded, we can begin to feel that is our existence, that is our identity, that our entire whole of ourselves is to be consumed and weighted down in trauma and pain. Well, that is not the case. The trauma and pain and loss that we have experienced or are experiencing is just that. They are experiences. And the fact that if there's something there lingering in your life history that you are managing and dealing with, if you can look back on it and talk about it in past tense, that experience of that job, that relationship, that incident, that occurrence, if you can talk about it in past tense, then it is in the past. It is something that you experienced. It is something that you navigated yourself through, or it is something that was done to you, but it is not you. It is not yours. And so, just like anything else that is not you and yours, if it happened to be thrown on you, if it happened to be shoved in your hand, you can drop it. You can drop it and let it go. You can acknowledge it, all of it, what has happened, what you've experienced, what it felt like, what it smelt like, what it did, what it didn't do. You can acknowledge it and then you can let it go. Because it is not you. It is not your identity. It is not the whole of your existence. It's like when we think about pain in our bodies. When we have a pain in our body, that is a sign that something is wrong. The sign that something is out of balance, that something needs healing, that something needs adjustment. It is not an indicator that, we necessarily have a new permanent state of existence. It is an indicator that something is out of balance, that something is wrong. For us to do something different, for us to make different choices, for us to seek help, assistance, services, care. But it isn't our whole of our existence. And that is the same with emotional trauma and pain that we experience in life. That is the same. And these moments of economic distress and chaos and job loss and changes, the loss of loved ones even, that trauma, that loss of this experience is not your whole identity. And so in these moments where we are experiencing so much of it, it's important to recognize that so that we can acknowledge that this may be an experience I have had and having, but it is not me and mine. And so therefore I can distance myself from it and I can let it go. That I can be able to begin to see myself separate and apart from the experience of pain and trauma and begin to focus in on the things that are truly ours, the things that are truly part of our identity and our existence, our passions, our beliefs, our talents, our gifts. Those are the things that are you and yours. The experiences are just that. Experiences along the way and along the journey. And so for this week, if there are things that you've been holding on to, that you find yourself frequently talking about in past tense, experiences that you've moved out of or that aren't present in your current living, but you find yourself still consumed by them, you find yourself still being driven by them, you find yourself still being beholden to them. Well, if you find yourself talking about them and they're those things that were in the past tense, right, that you've experienced in the past, I want to challenge you to let them go. Let them go. If you catch yourself talking about something that was a past relationship that was horrible, a past job, incidents, and it is not part of your current lived reality, just stop yourself, freeze in time, and say, I'm not there anymore. That trauma and that experience is not my whole. And begin to affirm yourself by talking about something that is in the present that is affirming of you. Start talking about or thinking about your hobbies, your gifts, your talents, the way you dance, the way you paint, the way you write, the way you speak and orate. Whatever those things are that are fueling you and giving you positivity in the present, shift your mind and your speech to focus on those things. Because in doing that, we create a landscape of future possibility. And you know what I'm going to say? Where all things are possible and nothing is out of reach. So for this week, I want you to let go of the trauma, the pain, and the loss of yesterday. I want you to acknowledge those things that are in the past that are still lingering in your mind and your heart and your conversation. And every time that they come up, I want you to acknowledge them. And then I want you to counter them with something in the present that is affirming. And by beginning to do that in a consistent manner, both in your mind and in your speech, you create a landscape and an ecosystem for yourself where truly all things are possible and nothing is out of reach. I'm Jeffrey DeShawn, the Inspired Muse, and I want you to go forth and let go of the trauma, the pain, and the loss. It is not you and yours. It was an indicator of an experience that needed to change, something that needed to be healed, something that was broken. And now you can let that go because you've had that experience, you've acknowledged it, and as you walk forward, you can let it go. Jeffrey DeShawn, the Inspired Muse. We'll see you next time.